into a file, then you have to do one thing, like file new, right? After that, you have to save it in your working directory, right? Okay.
Yes.
You can simply save. I'll say Python. Open a folder for you, right? Okay.
Okay.
So here I will say example one dot. The extension will be py. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Right. So the blank file. Okay. Normally in PHP we did. Okay. File was saved as PHP.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Java files is saved as .java. Likewise,
Yes.
it has to be saved with the py extension. Okay. Right. So we will learn first. Identifiers. Okay. So identifiers are to name something. Okay. To identify something. Okay. It can be variable. It can be a function name. Okay. Okay. A
Okay, sir.
constant. Okay. So these are the identifiers. So in PHP, we learned dollar some name to represent a variable. Okay. In Python, you can straight away write a name to represent a variable. Okay. You know what is a variable? Variable is a memory location to store some value. Okay.
Yeah.
So in Java, we have to define the data type and the variable. Okay. But here you don't need to define the variable type. Okay. It is
Okay, sir.
automatically save any type of variable, right? But in certain areas, we have to convert certain data types. Okay, we will be learning that. Okay, so what type of errors that we will encounter when the type doesn't match. Okay, so but when we are
Okay, sir.
defining a variable, we don't do that. Okay, right. So first we will take a simple example to compare two numbers. So then you can draw the flow chart later on. Okay,
Okay, sir.
right. So I will say, because this program is familiar because you did it in the PHP as well, right? So I will say first number is equal to, okay, simple, no? You don't need to mention the type, okay, F1, any name, right? Then you can say input. You can say enter first number.
सर मार्क ओपन කරගන්නද?
එපා දැම්මනේ.
හා සර්.
නිකන් බලා ගන්න. Later on you can see that. Okay. Make a screenshots on කොට දාගමු. හරි?
හරි සර්.
Second number, I can say second number. Okay. So you know that how easy it is. Okay. If you do the same thing in PHP, you have to define, you have to write forms, okay, and input method. Okay.
සර් මේ type එක ලියන්න ඕනේනේ.
Okay. Make it. ඕනේ.
ඔව්.
Type ඕනේ.
හරි සර්.
Right. අපි බලමු type ඕන වෙන්නේ කොතන when the types are required. Okay. Right. First you will make the error, then you will understand. It will prompt you, right? It is a type error. Okay. Right. By default, when you use this input method, it will take the data as characters or strings. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Then you have to, if you are doing a numerical type of functions, so then you have to convert that data into number. Okay. So we'll use some conversion methods. Okay. Right.
Okay.
So if you are doing this in the Java, you know how difficult it is. Okay. But
Yes.
simply just 2 lines. Okay. Looks like ordinary English. So then you can do the comparison. If F1 you can say greater than F2. So this is the block, okay. So here we don't use any curly braces to separate the block as we do in many other languages, right? So look at that. Once I put the colon and press enter, the cursor stops at a indented point, okay.
Yes.
Automatically go to that. So which means it belongs to whatever the thing that I'm typing here, it belongs to that if block. Okay. Now you can say print number is, putting a comma and passing the variable. Here in this case, it is F1, right? No line terminators here, right? So after that, I have to come out of that block, okay?
Yes.
Else colon, again it belongs to else block. See the indentation, right? Okay. So in this case, it is F2. That's all. I saved it. So here you can click on run and you can see that run module. Okay. If
Yes.
keyboard shortcut is F5. When you do that, okay, you can see the shell. Okay, enter first number. So I will say 12, 34. So the largest number is 34. Okay, simple program. Okay. How to compare three numbers. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Right. How to compare three numbers? Again, I can use the F1 equals.
You should get 3 inputs.
Yes. Okay. Input. Then I can say you can use either a single quote or double quote. Okay. It is valid. Enter a number. Right. So I can take the same thing 3 times. And we will change the variable as F2, F3. Okay. So then after
Okay,
that,
sir.
you can identify. Okay. First, you have to have outer if condition. First, we will check with the first two numbers whether F1 is greater than F2. Then what you want to do? You have to compare the third number with the largest number. No? Here in this case, F1 is the largest number. You have to compare that again with F3. No? Then I'm putting another condition. F1, whether F1 is greater than F3. Okay. So what can you
Okay,
do?
sir.
So we can say you can print saying combo is what? F1 again. Then put a comma F1. Otherwise, what is the largest number? F3, no? So nested else we call it, no? Else the largest number will be F3 here. Right. So then you have to come out of the nested if else. Then you have to compare the else part of this. Okay. What if else? Okay. Else. Then you have to compare with the F2 Okay. Else, once again, you are comparing. If F2 this time, right? Okay. If F1 is not larger than F2, okay, this block will be considered with F3. Okay. Now you have to draw the flow chart for this. Okay, it's a very simple program. If this is true, what is the largest number? F2. No? Okay. Otherwise, the largest number will be F3. Make sense? Right. So let's run this program. I'll switch to the shell right now. I'll enter the first number, second number, third number. So the logic difference will check if something went wrong.
Hello, sir.
Yes. Okay. Okay.
Sir, me disconnect to sir.
I know. I saw that.
Network avulaka.
So this is the output, no?
Yes.
Right. You got the idea. Right. Now we will consider how to print a range of given range of numbers. Right. So first I will say limit or L to represent limit. Okay, a variable. Then I will input number. Okay, we'll say enter limit. Right. Then we have to use a for loop. Okay. So here we will see some errors, right? We'll see what will happen. Okay. For I use a variable called I to represent the iterator. Okay. In range. So then you have to give the variable here. Okay. So which is taken from the keyboard. Right. So after that I can print the iterator I. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So first we'll run this one. Then after that we'll see what. Okay. I'll say 10. Did you see that? What is the error here?
String.
Type error.
Their type.
Did you see that? Earlier it didn't consider like that. So then we can make sure whatever we input using the input method, it will be like a string type. So it is asking for a conversion because it has to iterate. No? So this value should be an integer, no? Or number.
Yes, sir.
Right? So then whatever we are taking from the input method has to be converted into a number. So let's do that. Right. So I'm taking the input, okay, using input method. Then I have to use the inf method. Okay, there are other methods also, like we can convert into byte. Okay, we'll use that. Okay, later on. So now I am converting the keyboard entry into an integer. Now it will be an integer value. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Right. So then I will simply run this again. Heat on the shell. Okay. So one more time I will enter 10. You see that?
Yes.
So that for loop printed me 10 numbers. Okay, starting from 0. Okay, by default, the for loop, the iterator is initiated with 0. Okay, this I. You got the idea,
Yes.
right? So we will make few alterations for this program to get the custom range. Okay, earlier it was started with 0. Okay, this time we want to tell another value. Okay, where to start. Okay, so limit, and I will put another input to represent the starting point. Okay, we'll say first number. Okay, as first. Okay, enter the enter. I'll say first number. Right. So this will be the last number. Okay, enter the limit to last number.
So this is a while loop, no, sir?
Oh, same for loop.
Same loop. Okay, sir.
For loop, but I have changed a bit. Okay, earlier the I started with 0, so that's why I start
Yes, sir.
using 0. Now I want to give a custom range. Okay,
Okay, sir.
I will say I should start with this number and go up to the last number. Okay, this is how we have to write. So then we can print it. Okay, let's run this program. Okay, enter first number. So I will say first number as 10 and the last number as 20. Okay, uh, just like this. First number as 10, last number as 20. Then when I print it, okay, I enter, you see that.
Yes, sir.
So it went up to 19. Okay. So now if you want to print 20 as well, what you want to do?
Sir?
Now here it went up to 19, no? But I
Yes,
get
sir.
last number as 20. So how can I print the 20?
So you can enter the last number 21.
Then how can I print 21? Right. So I will put simply we can put +1 here. Right. So we'll give it a try.
Okay, sir. Yes, sir. Okay.
We go to the shell right now. Once again 10, then 20. You see that
Yes, sir.
it print me 20 as well. So this is how we can simply get for loop. Okay. So we will
Okay, sir.
implement these things into our other programs. Okay. Okay. If I say compare the largest number out of any given range, right? So it can
Okay,
be
sir.
varied, no? It can be 10, 15, it depends on the user's input. Okay, if we say if the user enter 5, then you have to compare the largest number out of 5. Okay, if the user enter 2, then you have to find out the largest number out of 2 or 20. Okay, it can be anything, it can be varied. So now we have to use the previous knowledge to get that, right? Okay, first I will say range. Okay, to represent range, I will use R. So we know that we want to convert that into int. So I will use the int method. Then I will use the input method. Okay. Here I will say enter the range. Okay.
Okay, sir.
similarly we have to use the, so this field is going to be the iterator, how many times that you are going to get. Okay, we will use the previous for loops, right? Okay, right. So then we'll use the for loop for in I in range, I can say R. So this is going to be the iterator. So the iterator is going to give me some input. Okay, right. So I'm going to get the number. Okay, just simply name the variable as n. Then once again I will use int method to convert that into int. Then I will use input. Here I will say enter the number.
So ऐसा इतना I n කියලා variable එකක් දුන්නේ.
Just to get the number, no? Any number, because I am going to get the series of numbers.
Okay, sir.
Because we are going to find the largest number out of a range of numbers.
Okay.
Okay, so that is the idea. Yeah. Right. So after that, we want to find out whether this number is larger than the maximum number. Okay. Right. So before that, we want to define a particular variable to represent the maximum number. I'll say maxi. Okay, to represent the maximum number. So we will initiate.
Okay,
normally the variables cannot be used without initiating, so we will initiate with 0. Right? Imagine. Now whatever the number that we are going to input from this iterator, okay, for loop, is going to compare with the maximum number. Okay, so this is the idea, right? If maxi, so if we see if n is greater than, okay, that is easy, maxi. Okay, initially maximum number is 0. If the user enter number 5 or 2, so it is definitely greater than the maximum number. No? If
yes.
It is so, what will happen? We have to assign that value, no, within the block. Okay, so then maxi is going to be the particular number that you enter. No?
Yes.
We are assigning that. So now the maximum number is going to be greater than the previous value, 0. Right? Perhaps the user enter in the next iteration something less than the previous number. Okay, earlier we say the user enter 20. Okay, in the second iteration user is entering 10. So at the comparison it is not greater than maximum. This condition will not be true. So then no assignment will take place. So at that time we don't need to take any action. Okay, then you can just skip this place, skip this, and you can go on. No? You understand? So I can write, if I want, I can write else, okay, and simply type pass. Okay, this is also valid, so we don't need to do that. So we'll check, right?
Okay.
Then after this iteration finish, so you will get the largest number out of the given range, no? Okay,
yes, sir.
This is iteratively taking inputs, okay, according to the given range. So ultimately the maxi will have the largest number out of those numbers, no? So then I can simply say print once again number is going to be maxi, no? Maxi. Okay. So let's check this. 1. We'll run the program. I'll say 5. So it will ask me the numbers. Okay. So I will put some random numbers. Do you see that?
So the range එක එයාමවත් දෙන්නේ.
I for loop I took that as 5, no? I took the range. So then for loops will iterate according to the range, no? So I gave 5 initially. So it is going to iterate 5 times. So each time it is asking for a number. So the comparison will take place. So then finally, the largest number will be assigned there. No? So I can give that in any order. Okay, we will see the program again. Here, I'm taking the range, right? So here I use it as a iterator. So this will iteratively take these input values, and it is compared with the maximum number. Okay, initially it is 0. Okay, anything greater than maximum number, so that will be assigned, others will not be considered. So ultimately, after running these for loop, you will get the largest number. No?
Yes, sir.
You got the idea? Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So we'll simply take range. Okay. So we can say.
So this is while loop, no?
Or while loop. Okay. So while. I will use an iterator here, okay, or counter, okay. Counter is initiated with 0 here, right? So we can say while C is less than the range, okay. As simple as that. So I can print counter, right? So what will happen if I run this program?
While C.
Shall we run this and see what will happen? I'll enter the range. As 5. Now what? Keep going. Right. Why it has happened so? Because there is no incrementer, because C will never be greater than R. So then you have to use something. Okay. You can use the simplest way. C is going to be C plus 1. Okay. So then what will happen? After several iterations, okay, this condition will become false. At that time, the iterator will stop. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Or else, what is the other way you can use? Either you can say C plus equal 1.
Yes.
Okay. So we will use only one thing. We will comment the line. Okay. So then this will be executed, right? So let's try now. I'll enter it 5. Okay. So it printed me 5 numbers. Okay. Because we initiated with 0 now. So there we can give the custom number if you want.
Yes, sir.
Method. Okay. Right. We'll try with the same thing. Right. I change here R. I can make it equal to R. Okay. So then it will go up to the particular number. Okay. So we'll see. After that, we can do the incrementer. Okay. C is equal to, okay, C plus equal to 1, equal 1. Okay, we are assigning. Okay, we are incrementing this counter. Okay, let's try this one. Okay, I will take the shell. Here, let's say range is 5. 1, 4, 2, 6. Okay. Because of equal to, it gave me 6 times. Do you see that? Because of this. Less than or equal.
Yes, sir.
If I remove that one, and if I try it again, right? So one more time I will say 5, 1, 5, 7, 9. Okay,
Yes, sir.
5 times. So that is how we use the while loop to do the same program. Right, we will take the marks. Okay, student marks. Okay, so I will say M is equal to marks. Again, I will convert that marks to integer because it cannot be a letter. Okay, it should be a number.
Okay.
Right? Then input, we say enter marks. Right. So imagine if this particular number, okay, or the marks is greater than 100, so it cannot be a valid mark. No. What is it?
Yes, sir.
If marks greater than 100, so you have to say print you say marks must be within 1 to 100, we say, right? So it will give you an idea to the user, right? Then we can say else if marks, okay, less than 0, what will happen? Again, we can use the same thing. No?
Yes.
You got the idea. Else if marks less than 30, not 30, no? Yes, 30. So it is going to be print, we'll say W, else if marks, so we know that, okay, the logic right behind it, less than 50 is going to be what?
Yes.
Yes. Else if marks less than 65, it's going to be C. Else if mark less than 75 going to be D pass. Otherwise, else, which means something between, okay, something greater than 100, no, less than 100, 100 or less than 100, okay.
Yes.
So we can say print, right? So you can have the argument in any order, right?
Yes.
There is a program, right? Let's try this one in the shell. It's a 76. It is a.
Okay.
So this is how it will give us, no, the output according to the different values. Make sense? Right. So we'll write that guessing game, right? So this is the package that you have to import for generate random number, random integer, okay? So this will generate a number between 1 to 6, so equal to die, you know, right? So when you throw a die, okay, it will give you from 1 to 6. So likewise, so
Yes,
we
sir.
can use this random method to get that idea, okay? So then you can get any number from 1
Yes,
to
sir.
6, right? So then we will use some input method to let the user to guess, okay? I'll say guess as G, then int input I'll say guess a number between 1 to 6, okay? So then user will know.
Okay, sir.
User will know what to type, okay? Right. So after that we have to compare, no? If the guessing number is equal to the randomly generated number, then user has guessed correctly, no? Okay. We can say print you are say you win, okay? Otherwise it's a simple thing, right?
Yes, sir.
We can say print try again. And you have to tell the correct number. Now then user will know what they have typed or what the system is generated, okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, correct number is the randomly generated number, okay? You can either put it like this, okay? If the guessing was correct, then we can say you, okay, you won.
Yes.
Or else try again. So let's try this one. right? So I'll say, I'll guess 4. Correct number is 3. Try again. You see what happened,
Yes, sir.
right? So I can keep trying this one. Okay. Now what? This time I will type 3. Okay. Correct number is 4. Right. We'll give one more try. 6. Correct number is 2. Okay. So just like that, you can keep on going.
Yes.
Right. Right. To make the calculator, what we want to do, we want to get 2 numbers, right? At the same time, we have to get the operator,
Yes,
right?
sir.
So I will say N1 as first number, the same as earlier. We'll convert that into int, the first input. Okay. Then after that, you have to use the input method. Say enter first number. Okay. Or you can say enter a number.
No.
Right? So we will do the same thing with the second number. Okay, I will say second number. Then I have to take the operator. Okay. So there I don't need any integer because we are not going to get that. Okay. Enter plus comma minus comma multiplication comma division.
So me dice එකද?
No, not dice, calculator.
Okay, sir.
Right. So the user will enter any number, okay, and the operator. Right. So we are implementing that if and else to make a calculator. Right. Okay. But not only the if and else, I'm going to teach you how to use the function to do the calculate. Right.
Okay, sir.
So we say if the operator is equal to plus, then you have to do something. Right. If the operator is equal to minus, then do something else. Okay. So here I will call a function, right? We'll define that function as add.
Okay, sir.
Then to add something, we have to use some parameters. No? What are the parameters? Parameter is that value that you are passing into the particular function. I will pass these 2 numbers, do the addition. Okay. So far we didn't define this. Okay. Right. Similarly, we will.
Sir, එතකොට add එක නිකන් n1 plus n2 කියලා දාන්න බැරිද?
We can, but I am using what I'm trying to teach here is how to use the function and how to call the function.
Okay.
And passing parameters. Okay, after that we will use some simple function, then you will understand the function. Okay, I'm just putting the function into an application. No, so our application is calculator. Okay, so within
Okay,
that
sir.
calculator, I'm using how to use this if and else. Okay, if condition. Okay. So this is similar to switch case in other programming languages. Okay, many programs they use switch cases. Here, this is how we use the switch case in Python. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Only going with if, right? So I'm going to do the same thing, same parameters I'm passing for this function. Okay. So here I can use product. Okay. So we'll say product. will say division. I can name it, okay, with any other name, right? Division. Okay, so far, if I run this program, okay, we don't find any matching functions, okay, because this is how we call a function, no? So these are also function calling here. Input is a
Yes, sir.
function, but where does it define? It is defined by the developer. No, it is in the API, right? It is already defined. So only thing we do is we just call in the function and passing some parameters. No? So here we are passing a string, or else we can pass some variables. Okay, it is already defined. And what is this int? It is also a built-in function. We don't know how to do the string into integer conversion. Okay, it is defined by the system developers in the API. So we just call the thing, right? Otherwise, what will happen? We have to develop everything from the scratch, no? But
Yes,
these
sir.
functions are not in the API, no, because these are our custom functions. So we have to define that in our application. Okay, right.
Okay.
So I will define them here. I'll say add. Okay, so this is the keyword that you have to use. Def add. Okay, that is how you define the
Function.
PHP we use function. Okay, Java we use the method name and the return type and all that. Okay, but here we will use the def key and the name of the function. Okay, and here we have to use the same signature. What do you mean by signature? The number of parameters that this will accept. Okay, if there is no parameter, so this function is not the function that this is called. You understand? Because here
No, sir.
it has two parameters, no? But here no parameters, no argument pass here, right? So
Okay, sir.
to exactly match this one, we have to pass some matching number of parameters, no? I can say xy simply, right? So this is these variables are not visible to the rest of the program because they are local, no? The local variables are within the function. They are not visible. Okay, right. So then see that. Okay, now it is belong to that function block, no? Is indented in such a way. I cannot type here. Okay, this is the
Okay,
place,
sir.
right? So I will say I will define another local variable here saying answer. Okay, and the local variable which I am taking here is x and y because those are the only variable that is visible within the function, right? Okay.
Okay, sir.
And these variables are also not visible out of this function, right? So then I have to return the answer because someone has called, no? Okay, in this block it called the add function, so then I have to return the value to the caller with the answer, no?
Yes, sir.
You got the end. Okay, so then I have to return the answer,
Is I return karan?
right? Because you cannot directly access, no? Right, when you return that, only the caller will get the answer. Okay, so what are we doing here? When the operator is matching to the plus, okay, addition, then it is calling this function with these two inputs, no? So it does the magic within the function. Okay, so these two variables are carrying the values and hand it over to these two local variables. So then we can do the function within
So
the
the return දැන් ඔතන define return කිව්වහම වෙන්නේ it's එකම දේනේ.
මොකද වෙන්නේ?
දැන් අර උඩ answer equal x plus y කියලා දැම්මනේ. ආය return කරන්න ඕනේද sir?
Oh, නැත්තම් යාර ගන්න බෑනේ. Without returning, how can you do that? Otherwise, you have to print it here, no? You have to write a print statement here. You can do the output, okay, as print answer something. Okay.
Yes, sir.
But so what will happen? Every time when you call this program, it will print. But what if a particular function is doing some other calculation, including add function? So there it is no point of printing. So we want to get the added value, and that will be taken for another calculation in another function. We say, so I'm defining something like getting the some other calculation like percentage or maybe uh, mean value or anything. Okay, so that particular function requires addition within that function. So then you don't need to define addition again. You just call the function by throwing those values to be added. No,
Yes.
so that is like a reusable thing. No, you can reuse the thing. So then it will. So then here within the function, or any caller can make use of the make use of those answers, or it can be printed, or it can be used for another calculation or anything, right? So that is the usage of function, right? So I will just replicate this.
So ඔතන මට return කියන්නේ මොකද්ද සර්?
So the answer after calculating this one, the answer is thrown to the caller.
Okay sir.
Right.
Okay sir.
Right. Here I will say sub. Again, another function. Okay. So I'm using the same variable, okay, but they are not similar. This xy and these xy are not same. They are not visible, okay. You understand?
Yes sir.
Because they are local variable. It is only within this function. Okay, I can say p and q, no problem, right? If I say p and q, no problem, right? It does the same thing.
Yes.
P and y. Okay.
Okay sir.
So here I will say product. Again, these variables are not same. Okay, local variable. Then once again I can define the div function, division function. Okay, this function. I can do the division. So every time it will return the function, right? So here I can, now you will not see the output. Okay, so what I have to do? I have to use the print function to print the return answer, no? Right? So I will do that. Okay, print. Right? Here I can put some statement to understand clearly. The total, then comma output. Okay, and close the parenthesis. Okay, so I can do the same thing for the others. I can say difference product. Print division. Okay.
Okay.
So now we can run the program. Okay, how does it start? Okay, when I execute, it will get the inputs. Okay, and after that, according to the comparison, okay, according to this operator input value, it will execute that particular block, right?
Okay.
Okay. Okay, let's run this one. Right. So I will enter some numbers 22, 33, then plus. You see that?
Yes,
It called the function, return the answer, and it printed. Okay, I will run the other one more time. This time I will say 79, 50 minus difference. You understand?
yes, sir.
So likewise, we can run the rest of the functions. If I say, okay, we'll use division. It does. You got the idea. So that is how we can call a function. Okay, now you learn two things. Okay, how to call a function with specific parameters. Okay, now in the code you will understand that. Okay, so the name function. Okay, we are calling the function, and here we use the if condition only because this is similar to switch case. Okay, did you see that? Everywhere we didn't use anything like elif, only the if condition. Okay, so here, so that is speciality. There is a speciality in Python. Okay, that is how we use the switch case. Okay, so calling functions and the switch case type of thing, and how you are getting the return value. Okay, so we don't need to write them as a procedure. Okay, so this is the functions are returning some value. The advantage is reusability. Okay, so then you can define many more functions in the program, and within that function you can recall any of these predefined functions without defining it again. Okay, even within the function you can call. So can't I call sub function here? Yes, I can. Okay, it does the subtraction and that. Okay, so right, I don't want to make this more complicated, but I told you how you can make changes and do trial and error. Okay.
yes. Sir,